And yeah, my name is Joshua Aura. Joshua Aura is a lecturer, a CPA lecturer, somebody who has taught CPA courses for over 20 years. Even if I've never taught you physically, I always believe that all CPA students, even if I've never taught you physically, you must have watched my video somewhere. If you are a CPA student in part 2 or part 3, you must have watched this Mwalimu's video somewhere. True or false? True or false? True or false? In short, I normally call myself the father of all accountants in Kenya, because in one way or the other, I must have impacted on your life. Great, great. Now, by profession, I'm a member of ISPAC. I am a member of the prestigious ACCA, and of course, if you have never known, I'm also a civil engineer. So in future, once you clear this great course called CPA, get yourself a very good job, and you would want to do, for example, a big structure, and you would want a structural engineer. The one will come and design and tell you, for example, what kind of beams do you need? What kind of columns do you need for you to be able to really have a stable building, a building that will not become like the Leaning Tower of Babel after some time? You need to talk to me. You need to talk to me. Great. Now, why are we here? We are here to discuss something very simple, something about your new what year, your new syllabus, So first of all, it's good for you to appreciate the fact that we are in exciting moments. This new syllabus, ladies and gentlemen, is bringing the much needed hope to all CPA students in Kenya, and of course, in whichever country which is embracing our local CASNEB examinations here. Why? Here we are embedding ICT on the accounting and the finance papers. They have introduced what we call the practical paper in the new syllabus. That makes me to be very excited, because for long, students have been saying, ladies and gentlemen, that accountants are really done what year underpaid out there. But when I try to assess most of the graduates who are coming from CASNEB is a good body, but most of the graduates who have been coming there, for lack of ICT skills, most of them have been getting what we call mediocre what year wages. Most of them have been really crying. But when you look at the other side of the coin, it doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen, what amount of finance you know. It doesn't matter the amount of accounting, debit, credit you know. If you don't know how to do those things in Excel, advanced Excel, if you can't prepare a profit and loss account, if you can't prepare a statement of financial position, if you are given a trial balance, automatically using the sum ifs function, then straight away, even yourself, you are what year? A mediocre accountant. No, I would rather tell you the truth, because I'm your father. I started by telling you I'm your father, because I would want you guys at the end of the day to really go up there. If you get an accountant out there who is getting like 600, 700,000 gross salary, those guys, if you look at their backgrounds, if you look at their capabilities, they are so good in ICT. They're able, you'll get these people, for example, you have an Excel worksheet that has got, for example, 10,000 rows, 10,000 items. These guys, if they're told to search for something in this Excel, they'll not start looking for the search function. So if you look for the search function, for example, you've been given like football teams, many of them. Maybe they want you to search a football team in particular order, maybe from whichever country that team is coming, and there are 10,000 all teams in the whole globe. So do you know how to make use of the VLOOKUP function? Do you know how to make use of the HLOOKUP function? Do you know the index and match? You know, Excel is not just about adding and doing what you're subtracting. And that is why if you look at the course outline called ICT, course outline of the subject called ICT, they've introduced those things of index match. They've introduced, under the new syllabus, of course, they've introduced VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, etc. And then, of course, everything there will reach the pinnacle in terms of what year analytics under a paper that they've introduced in CPA Part 3 called the practical paper, business analytics. Now, I would want to begin this particular talk, ladies and gentlemen, not in the manner that I've begun, because if I do that, most of you may decide to run away, and then I'll be left perhaps alone in this particular ward here, in this particular room. So I would want us to start, first of all, by looking at, is it only me who can't hear you? The volume is too low. Let me see. Ladies and gentlemen, are you able to hear me from your side clearly? Are you able to hear me from your side clearly? Great. So most likely, perhaps it is the students who are not able to hear me. They have got what here? Poor internet connection from their end. And if you're not able to hear clearly, what you're supposed to do is to exit, and then you come back. You exit, and then you come back. Great. Thank you very much. I can see Duncan Owino. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now, Part 3 papers. So Part 3 papers are here. CPA Part 3 papers are here. You can see they no longer be calling them, by the way, parts. Now we will be talking of what here? Now we shall be talking of the FEAR model, the model that ACCA makes use of, the FEAR model, So under FEAR model, we have the foundation level. We have, in this case here, the intermediate level, and then we have the advanced level. Great, thank you very much. So under advanced level, ladies and gentlemen, these are the papers that we shall be having. Somebody try to assist Mr. Mecha. Mr. Mecha from there. So the advanced level, we have leadership and management replacing our famous SGE. That paper that was really feared. I don't know how last sitting the exams, SGE exam was, but now SGE is long gone. Now we are left with a simpler paper called leadership and management. So when you talk of leadership and management, of course, the detailed issues to do with risk management, etc., those ones now are no longer there. So risk management, even ethics under leadership and management, ethics is smaller. It's not like how it used to be. So we shall not be talking of teleological ethics, deontological ethics, callbacks, whatever. Those things will not be there. Now we are talking of a leaner paper called the leadership and what here? Management. Leadership and management. I can see two students who are putting up their hands. I don't know whether I should unmute them, but if I try unmuting them so that they can ask questions, I'm so sure it will be chaotic. I don't know whether each one of us knows how to mute themselves, whether we know how to mute ourselves. Do we know how to mute ourselves? Do you know how to mute ourselves? Please try from your end muting yourself so that I can unmute everybody, because I would want this to be really a discussion forum. It's not about me. This is more of you. I've also brought ambassadors of CASNEB here that I would want to address us. So I would want all of us, I'm now unmuting, giving you a chance to unmute yourselves. So please ensure that all of us remain muted. And this is a practice that you need to start following. From today. Like now I can see a good, like so many of us. Look at that number. Look at that number. Which is not muted. I can see Joseph. I can see so many of them. Good to please try. It's something that you need to learn from today, because moving forward with this COVID thing, these online platforms for teleconferencing, things to do with what here, meetings. People, you guys, especially accountants, trust you, in the next 5 years, all of us will be working from home, and we need to embrace these teleconferencing tools. Know that whenever you get into any meeting, mute your mic and ensure that your video is also closed. You can see about 10 of them, like Stella, we have Justin, Fred, Ogutu, Joseph, Nkui, not muted. Great. So you can see it can't work. Julius, can you try asking your question, and then I mute up all of you, because this can't work. This cannot work. This can't work. It can't work. So it means I have to mute all of you. Just mute, yes. I think that is the only way out. That is the only way out, because you can't learn. Thank you very much. Great, great. Now here we are. So we are looking at 6 papers, not 6, but look at the papers that we have. Great. Yeah, the very best way of you responding will be for you, ladies and gentlemen, to use what here will be for you to use the chat room. The chat room. So we have leadership and management, advanced financial reporting and analysis, advanced financial management, advanced taxation. We have auditing and assurance advanced. We have advanced management accounting. This paper, advanced public financial management and the business data analytics, as you are aware, will not be examined in this semester. In this semester, we shall not be examined these 2 papers, right? So in this semester, for the students who will be doing CPA advanced level, they'll be doing leadership 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 papers like that. 6 papers. 6 papers. Only 6 papers. And remember, you can sit for a minimum of how many papers at a time? A minimum of 3, not unless you have a referral or something. You can only sit, if, for example, you're coming from CPA section 4, you don't have to do the 6 papers at once. You can decide to do 3. So a minimum of 3. A minimum of 3. It's good for you to know that, because some of you are quite busy, family, jobs, etc. You can do 6 papers at once. Now, is there any student who has a question? Because I would want maximum, of course, all of them. Maximum all of them. You can decide in this case here to combine, at least for this sitting. At least for this sitting. Remember, this sitting also, there is nothing like specialization. This sitting, you are doing all the 6 papers, right? There is nothing like special. I'll be explaining specialization, which will be starting from the next trimester. Specialization this time around, there is nothing like specialization. And remember, if you happen to sit for any papers this time around, and you pass in at least 1 paper, you get a pass. For example, you do 3 papers and you get a pass, or you do 6 papers and you get 1 pass. You'll be given a whole year without being subjected to the concept of specialization, without being subjected to the concept of the practicals, without being subjected to the internship requirement for you to join ISPAC. So listen, those students, it can't be any better. The students who are in section 4, you guys must ensure that you attempt section 5 papers this time round and don't get a fail in all of them. God forbid if you must fail, you must fail some paper, ensure that at least you've got 1 pass this time round for these December exams. If you've got 1 pass, then that will be your passport for a whole year. For a whole year up to August 2020. That's the sitting starting August 2022, a whole year. You'll be given like a whole year for you to be done with what here? Your 6 papers without being subjected to the practical paper. So this is the best way of avoiding the practical paper. Without being subjected to what here? The internship. There is an internship requirement for you to become a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. There is an internship which you'll be able to run away from. And then, of course, in this case here, the concept of what is specialization will not be there. But for the students who will not be attempting part 3, the students will not be attempting part 3, then those things will crystallize immediately from the next semester. The next semester. This semester, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, that will begin from January 2022. If that is when you will be beginning your CPA section 5, then rest assured that you will be subjected to specialization. You will have to do, in this case here, a practical paper. You have to do the concept of what here? Internship. Before now you become what here? A member of ISPAC. Before you graduate and become a CPA K. How I wish I could get somebody who can take notes for me. I happen to be having a brand ambassador. Very good. Like now, Adam Weni is asking a very important point here. If you are already working, do you still need to intern? No, no. You don't have to intern at all, but also remember that there are those particular trainings that you must attend, those workshops in this case here, which are organized by CASNEB and ISPAC, which you must attend for you to be able to become what you are a member of ISPAC. There are so many things. If I were you for now, especially if you're going to part 3, I would want to avoid all those things, because you can imagine ISPAC meetings. How much are they going to cost? 1 shilling? 1 shilling is going to be an expensive system. And that is why, if possible, please, the management of CASNEB, because I'm so sure some of you could be watching Mwalimu here, it's important you look at really cost effectiveness of this particular new syllabus, especially after the grace period has ended. The grace period that we given these part 3 students, after it ends, please ensure that this thing does not become very, very expensive, because I can see once you start bringing in the issues of ISPAC meetings being mandatory, like 2 workshops, that is not going to cost, if they don't cut the cost, it's not going to cost less than 100,000, 2 workshops. You guys know ISPAC, it's quite costly. So they should introduce what we call a students what year model, perhaps 5,000, 10,000 per workshop, right? Something which is what year affordable, something that is affordable. So what have we said? What have we said? That if you are going to part 3, ensure that you start doing your exams this quarter. So that is okay. That's okay. I don't know whether I continue and then we answer these questions later. I don't know. Perhaps the very best would be for me to complete in this case here speaking. And then if possible, we answer we have like 20 minutes to brush through all the questions. And ladies and gentlemen, as I speak, it's important for you to know that we have got some ambassadors of CASNEB who are with me. Perhaps I could give Nyongesa. Nyongesa, if you are hearing, Nyongesa, are you able to hear Mwalimu? If you are hearing Mwalimu, let's start with Nyongesa. If you could speak to us specifically on part 3. Nyongesa, are you with me? Yes.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, Nyongesa, I'm able to hear you very well. Could you kindly make a comment about part 3? If there is anything I've forgotten, you can easily.
Hello, can you hear me?
Very well, yes.
Okay, my name is Peter Nyongesa. I'm a CASNEB ambassador representing Machakos University and RCM College. Okay, on matters pertaining part 3, that is advanced level, we have 6 units, that is advanced MA, leadership and management, replacing SG. Then we have advanced FR, advanced AA, advanced taxation, advanced FM, then advanced public finance and taxation. So I have seen some students asking, I have seen some students asking if you have attempted one paper in section 3. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Hello?
Yes, please continue.
Okay. In advanced level, as I said, we have 3 papers that are compulsory as from next year, January to April sitting. But as at now, at the advanced level, there is no specialization, meaning if you attempt the advanced level, you shall do 6 sittings, 6 units, and you have to complete them by August sitting. Okay, I have seen some students asking if you attempt the advanced level and it comes to next year August sitting before you complete. Let's assume you have failed advanced advanced auditing, the plus advanced taxation, which are okay, let me say which are
optional specialization.
Optional. Then yes, then you shall choose between advanced AA and advanced taxation. Which one will you admire to specialize in? So, Apple, but so you can't say you have failed advanced AA, then you tell Casneb that I wanted to specialize in advanced taxation. So last
I can see, Nyongesa, you have a problem. You have a problem with your network. I don't know whether you could try changing your gadget or you change your internet and use Safaricom.
So let's say so you shall specialize in any type. Hello, can you?
No. No, Nyongesa, what we do.
Hello, can...
Sorry. Nyongesa, if you can, please switch to Safaricom's Wi-Fi, and then we'd really want to hear from you. Switch to Safaricom's Wi-Fi, would really want to hear from you. So can I give you a few minutes, you ensure that you get Safari. You know, Safaricom is the better option, right? It's the better option. Just get Safaricom's Wi-Fi, and then we shall be able to hear from you. We really need to hear from you. These students will, because you are their age mate, they would really expect and respect, of course, whatever you tell them, right? Great. Because I've had you have a very good conversation, but we can't hear you very well. Once you are ready, please in the chat box, in the chat room, tell me that you are ready with Safaricom's Wi-Fi. Yes. So as we wait for him to make the change, remember this particular talk is coming from Jay Aura. Jay Aura teaches RCM at RCM Online College. For your information, from this semester, I have decided to do only online classes. I've stopped teaching physical classroom setup. So from this semester, we are doing only offering our classes through an online platform. Have I made a wrong decision or a good decision? Wrong decision or good decision? Wrong or good? Good, because you know online is the way to go. As I started this session, I told you that in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, all of us will be working from where? From home. So we need to be very versatile with the online technology. And one of the ways of you becoming so good in these online matters is to start working with these online gadgets from the word go. So as we study these things, ensure at the end of the day that you are using what here, this online platform, you can never go wrong. Basically, if you have ever learned with us, you know that ours is quite unique. We make use of what we call a blended model. We are fusing between videos plus what here? Zoom live classes. And please don't forget, of course, there are so many people who are trying to steal Mwalimu's name, etc. And ensure that if you want to make any inquiries with us, that is our number. That's our number. So I'm waiting to hear. Great. I'm waiting to hear from my friend. Yeah. Thank you very much. I can see you guys are accommodating this online concept. Great. Section 1. Now, we come to part 2 as we wait for our friend to come back so they can just finish the entire discussion. We come to part 2. Part 2, I'm so sure you guys know the papers that we shall be doing in part 2. So part 2 papers are here. intermediate level. It's called now intermediate level. So we have company law, financial management, financial reporting and analysis, auditing and assurance, management accounting, public finance, and taxation. Ladies and gentlemen, the students who are coming to part 2, who are done the foundation level, who are done part 1, CPA part 1 in the old syllabus, will be very lucky, especially students who did section 3 last semester. Students who did section 3 last semester, this semester, those students will only be doing which paper? Auditing and assurance. Why? Because the PFT and the MA that has been brought in CPA, equivalent of section 4, those students are done those papers in CPA part 1. So they shall be exempted from those 2 papers, right? And then remember, QA has been taken back to the foundation. So those students basically, here we are looking at 3 papers. Listen to me very well. We are looking at 3 papers. We have AA, we have a PFT, and then we have what here? After PFT, we have management accounting. And these papers, they had already done them previously. Meaning the students who did CPA section 3 last semester, and they happened to, by the grace of God, to pass in all their 3 papers, section 3 papers, then automatically this semester, they'll be able to just do 1 paper alone, which is what here, which is AA, auditing and what here, assurance. Only that, right? Any question regarding this part 2? Any question regarding part 2? The only problem, and I wish CASNEB could borrow this from ACCA, like now these students will be doing this AA alone this term. I mean, most of them, if they are day students, they'll be really wasted. How I wish we could open this thing. We could open, in this case here, these leads of saying that you can't do a paper here and a paper there, right? Just open up the entire thing like ACCA did long time ago, so that a student should be able to take like a paper from here and they pick a paper, in this case here, from the advanced. It's something that I really recommended and I would really want to see it happening. ACCA has done it, and we strongly believe that even CASNEB can do this. Never limit. You see, like ACCA, a student will register, for example, for ACCA. The first 9 fundamental papers. A student can even decide to start the course from F5, depending on their background. You don't have to start from F1. No. We should be giving students a lot of flexibility to choose. Because like now I'm asking, like now I have been talking to some parents. A parent will wonder, now my student in this case here is a daytime student, even if the student is doing online classes. I mean, after they attend like 3 sessions of AA in a week, what else should they be doing? So we need to open, in this case here, the lead to ensure that in the subsequent, perhaps year, doesn't matter, after now these teething problems are over, we expect CASNEB to open up that lead. Let students in this case here be able to do whichever papers they want to combine, of course, in whichever levels. And actually even make it more simple, even for the working class like ACCA. If a student wants to pick 1 paper, they should be allowed to pick that paper. If they want to pick 2 papers, if they want to pick 3 papers, somebody you are listening to me, give them that flexibility. Let them choose. At the moment, of course, you know, they need, not unless you have got exemptions or refers, they need you to sit for at least how many? 3. There's some, for example, ladies who are working. Ladies in this case here, for example, got baby, say in the last, say, 4 or 5 months. These guys can't handle a workload of 3. Give them that flexibility. Let them do 1 or 2 papers, so long as they keep having the wheel rolling. That is the concept. Roll the wheel. And of course, if there is anybody, just like in ACCA, who wants to do 6 at once, allow them. Great. So part 2, we are waiting. If I did section 3 and I failed a unit, very good, Kipchumba. Remember the units that you passed in section 3. Those units credit will be kept for you permanently. If you remember this debate, we had a debate of permanent grades, permanent passes being kept for you. That was discussed with the CASNEB, and now they have agreed from now this semester, moving forward, credits will be kept for you permanently. This thing of saying after 5 sittings, 2.5 years, your credits lapse, there is nothing like that. And that is why I always keep on telling you, let's keep on having this conversation. The more we talk, if you remember that lengthy letter that we did, the more we keep on talking, the more we'll have somebody up there listening. So credit now, if you pass, even if you had passed in the old sitting, one paper, so meaning that 2 papers you failed, you'll only repeat the papers that you failed. The 1 paper you passed is now yours to keep permanently, Now, those who did section 4, if you fail in 1 paper, now this is a very good debate that we are having with CASNEP. Assuming students in this case here who sat last sitting for section 4, specifically QA. If, for example, those students in this case here fail in QA, what do you think should happen? Can somebody try answering me this? You did QA last semester. Now, wanguke that paper called the QA. What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? I'm waiting to get answers. What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? Now you guys are not asking your questions. Now you are answering my questions. You did a QA last semester, and then you fail, and then you fail. Go to the advanced. Yeah. That is actually what is coming out. Because the question is, even if you failed in QA, and of course the paper replacing QA is what here is MA. And the MA, if you fail in QA, apparently you're supposed to do MA. But you see, you had gotten an exemption of MA. So then what happens? And again, you can't go back to the foundation level to do QA, because this system is a system just like salvation. It's forward ever, backward never. It's forward ever, backward never. So you cannot go back to the foundation level. So in this case here, there is quite a lot of intensity, which is gravitating towards having those students in this case here getting what we call free credits. But remember that one, CASNEB said they can only issue a statement regarding it after results. That's when they'll be able to confirm what I'm saying or not. Remember, I'm not speaking on behalf of CASNEB. Aure is just your ordinary teacher. I'm only speaking out of my experience, of course, or rather out of whatever I'm reading, also on the website, etc. of CASNEB like that, right? Actually, to make it even easier, if I were at a decision-making level of CASNEB, to make it a little bit even easier is to ensure that there is nobody who will fail in QA in this paper, in this sitting. Just have all of them passing. Even if they wrote a dog is a dog, so long as they wrote something, pass. I mean, if you are an examiner, what would have you done? You as a student, if you are to be elevated to become an examiner, would you want a situation where some students will go back to part 1 to foundation level again to do QA? What would have you done? Even 0 should be what here? Should be a pass, yes. That is my advice to any decision-making body up there. Please, to avoid chaos, just ensure that those guys, at times life is about what you lack. Allow them to do what here to pass. After all, anybody who never sat for QA paper last semester has already passed. Anybody who never sat for QA paper, and this is what we were fearing to tell you last semester. The very best decision was for you not to sit for QA paper at all last semester. Any student who never sat for the QA paper last semester has already passed. So if this student has already passed without sitting, why don't you give credit to this one who even sat, even if he gets 5 marks? Allow them to pass all of them. Right? Yes. Great. So I don't know whether my friend Nyongesa is back. Bosco is asking a very good question. How can you call yourself an accountant without QA? Bosco, let me tell you the truth. You don't need QA at all as an accountant. Actually, that paper, if you ask me, is a waste of time. That is why if you look at serious examining bodies like CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants in the UK, we have in this case here, for example, ACCA, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, also UK like that. They long ago removed quantitative analysis from their syllabus because they realized they don't assist an accountant anywhere. I mean, even personally, ladies and gentlemen, I've taught QA for so long. Sorry for using this bad example. I know you guys appreciate the fact that if y equals 10x raised to power 5, dy over dx, that means what here? That we are differentiating. So dy over dx in this case here means what here? We're differentiating. So the power has to come down. The power comes down. When it comes down, in this case, it gives us 10 times 5, which is 50x raised to a reduced power. Remember, we always use the 1 reduction. You take the old power minus 1. So old power is 5 minus 1. That gives us what? 4. Beautiful, interesting. But currently, I happen to be the group accountant for some of these big companies. Like I do group consolidations for EABL, right? I do group consolidations for Equity Bank, NCBA Bank. There are some of our great clients in this case here, right? Where will I ever use this thing for group consolidation? Where? At times, I even teach some of these papers and wonder, because to me, as an accountant, if you ask me, I'll ensure, and that is why CASNEB, it's very important that I brought this practical paper. I'll ensure that these students are so good in QuickBooks. That's number 1, that's the base. Number 2, I'll ensure that they are so good in Excel. Number 3, I'll cascade this thing and take it a notch higher by ensuring that they are very good in SAP, that they should be able to know the FICO, finance and costing modules. And then those students now, the moment they are good in those things, now they should be able to, cut across, walk up across nations and get very serious jobs. But if you are really restricting this accountant to dy dx, that you're teaching them queuing theory to go and do what with queuing theory? As an accountant, I would rather teach you how to write reports like ACCA, how to use conjunctions. Nevertheless, however, in how you are structuring your report, because at the end of the day, as an accountant, you are a reporter. You need to know how to use humor in the way you report. You need to know how to convince shareholders. If you ask me, something like public speaking should even be a detailed paper in CPA. Because how do you tell me that now you're finished? You've done this, a lot of this mathematics, and then now you're out there as an accountant. You don't know the difference between R and L. You don't know the difference between she and the C. And you are a reporter. At the end of the day, after you have cleared your CPA, you become a certified auditor. You need to give an opinion. Yeah, so this new syllabus is a step to the right direction, but still there is more to be done. Papers like you, if you ask me, 0. Yeah, consider ERP soon. FR and Excel, yes. FR and Excel, right? Right, is not important. To me, I know things which are important for an accountant. At least I happen to be in that club of accountants. In this case here, we exactly know what an accountant is supposed to be doing. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. If even your exams, it's good that CASNEB now is introducing this CAMS level. They want this CAMS level from next year. The lower level, the exams now are going into computer-based. That is the direction to go. ACCA went computer-based long time, over 10 years ago, even before COVID was imagined by anybody, over 10 years ago. So you'll never get any ACCA student who has a problem with typing, because we are taught, I'm a student of ACCA, I'm a member of ACCA. We are taught that these are the home keys, ASDF, JKL semicolon. So I'm able to type very fast. ACCA students don't go to their exams with calculators. Those things are hidden in Excel. You're given one Excel workbook here, and you need to know how to search for information between Excel workbooks, how to use VLOOKUP, how to do this. That is the direction that accountants are wanted to go. Not to tell me the things to do with the QA. QA, Bosco, wrong. Thank you. Great. Now, so, okay, I was in your recent class under section 4. Since I'm working, I can manage only 3 exams in November. So can I proceed and register for leadership management, advanced financial management, and advanced management, advanced FR? Yes, that is the way to go. You can register for any 3. Of course, if you are so busy, don't attempt the 6. What is the difference between SG and the leadership and the management? Remember, SG, ladies and gentlemen, spoke more of governance. So there was a whole unit talking about governance, telling us, for example, that any good company, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, should be having a board of directors. The board of directors should be structured like this, like in form of committees, should be having an audit committee. Of course, they will still be there under leadership and the management, but not to that detail. And then remember, SG had a whole, actually 2 or 3 chapters talking about what here? Talking about risk management. Right? Now that risk management framework, the TALA thing will no longer be there. Right? So leadership, you're looking at the management scholars, those management scholars. This is a beautiful paper that if I get a chance, I should be teaching. If I get a chance, I should be teaching this paper. And a leadership will be getting these great scholars like who? Like Fayol. If you remember Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol in this case here gave us 2 things. Is there anybody who has ever attended my SG class? Henry Fayol gave us 2 things. What and what? Gave us 2 things. What and what? What and what? What and what? We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. The company that I'm working for, rather, there are some people who want to poach me and give me CEO. I think it has hit my time also to eat a little bit, isn't it? Right? But I'll teach 1 or 2 papers. However busy I will be, I'll be able to teach 1 or 2 papers at the end of the day. Yes, thank you very much, Lokai. Principle, yes, the principle. So there are 14 principles of management. 14 principles of management. Of course, we talk of that. You see, USSR, and then we say, oh, I do what here? I see. These are 14. Oh, I see. These are 14. So when you talk of 14, if you count them nicely, you'll be able to see that they are 14. You'll be able to see that they are 14. You'll be able to see that they are 14. And of course, the first one means what here? Discipline. Disciplined workers. If workers are not disciplined, then your company is not going anywhere. If your workers, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, do not have authority figures of authority, managers who are authoritative, then the company will not go anywhere. We have what we call division of what here? Labor, division of work. That don't have, in this case here, people who are jacks of all trades. No. Have people, in this case here, who are specializing. We have a spirit of what here? The corps. And this is why I love CPA. The moment you do CPA and understand it very well, you become an all-rounder. You become an all-rounder. So if you pass in SG this semester, will you do this LM, leadership and management? No. SG is broader. LM is well within SG. So if you pass in SG, correct, straight away, you're good to go. You're good to go. Yes, this paper is quite similar to the principles of management, but you will not be given exemptions in that level, right? I can see where I did section 2 when it was econ, auditing and assurance, and cost accounting. I passed audit, but failed in economics and cost accounting. So where do I begin, and which papers will I sit come December? Good question. Good question, but truth be told, if you did this when it was cost accounting, all those 3 papers, if you look at your portal, all those 3 papers were snatched from you long time ago because you failed in a paper. You failed in economics long time ago. Cost accounting, when I used to teach cost accounting, that must be over 10 years ago. So if you failed in cost accounting, you failed in economics, even the paper that you had passed in, that paper was recalled long time ago. So you have to repeat those 3 papers plus any other new paper that is in the foundations. But fortunately, you will be able to avoid things to do with financial accounting, law, those ones. So all is not lost. but the section 2 papers, all of them in this case here, are no longer there with you. Those ones, even the one you had passed, was recalled long time ago. Thank you very much. Great. Ah, great. Is Nyongesa back? Nyongesa, there is somebody who wants to talk to you for part 2. Nyongesa, were you able to get, in this case here, good internet? Were you able to get good internet? Very good. So Nyongesa, let me allow Nyongesa. So Nyongesa now goes straight away to part 2. Go straight away to part 2. Nyongesa, please unmute yourself and then you talk to us. Felix Omondi, I hear and feel you very well. He's asking, having lost my 2 credits in tax and strategy because of the 5 sittings rule, it means, Felix, you have to do the 6 papers now in part 3. 6 papers. Please start doing them this quarter, start doing them this time around to avoid many issues in the future. Yes, Nyongesa.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Very well, yes.
Okay. At the intermediate level, we have 6 units. That is FR, FM, company law, MA, and taxation. Okay, those students who are asking that if they fail in either QMIS, which have been moved to the intermediate, to the foundation level, okay, CASNEP said that they once the results are out. So kindly be patient. Any questions? One student is asking that he was sitting for FR for the last chance. Okay, according to the new syllabus, there is permanent credits or, okay, there is permanent credit, meaning if he if he fails FR again, then it means he will not repeat in company law or FM. And I saw this one student asking that he's working at the same time. CASNEP has introduced the concept of internship. Okay, they said that CASNEP together with ISPAC, they shall introduce something called work simulation. It means you shall be doing, okay, they shall assess the work you are doing and the concept they are, okay, and the skills they want you to have. Are they related? If they are related, then you shall get registered as the ISPAC member. Okay, on the issue of exemption. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, on the issue of exemptions, I saw one asking that he has a degree in BCom. If you have a degree in BCom, you shall be exempted the whole of foundation level, that is FA, communication skills and whatever. Then come to the intermediate level, FM, FR, then kwa MA and taxation and auditing, MA taxation and auditing, you shall choose one, either one or 2. So unit yenye una choose, ukikuja kwa advanced level, lazima utaifanya kama unit yenye ume-specialize. So for example, you do auditing and assurance at the intermediate level, you shall specialize at the advanced level, auditing and assurance, but not taxation and MA or public finance.
Good. As in,
Any other question, please?
if you don't do MA in section in this intermediate level, you can't go to specialize on it at the advanced level. If you want to specialize, for example, in matters to do with taxation, you must start from where? From this particular intermediate level. Do PFT in this intermediate level, and then up there you'll be able to do advanced. Otherwise, you'll be advancing what? Great. Peter, do you have?
Okay, niliona kuna mwanafunzi aliuliza if you attempt any paper, if you attempt and passed any paper, even if it is one by December sitting, if you attempt advanced level in December sitting and you have passed at least one unit, then that student shall not be subjected to specialization and matters concerning internship and practical paper. But if it's, that student shall be required to complete CPA by August 2022. Na ikifika August kama hujamaliza, then it means you shall be subjected to internship and practical paper automatically.
Great. I can see so many messages here. I can see so many messages here. Yes, what somebody is advising here, Nyongesa, because of it's like the place you are in is not very nice in terms of internet. You seem to be knowing so much. If you could just do a very good write-up, and then you send us the write-up, and then we shall be able to, of course, we have our WhatsApp. We have our WhatsApp. If you're not on WhatsApp, you need to reach out to us. You need to reach out to us 0719 525,000, and then we should be able to distribute this particular article that Nyongesa will write to each student. And please try to just be detailed. Try to be very detailed, and then we give these students this particular write-up. I'm so sure it will really be of help. Now, ladies and gentlemen, or even record a video, I like that. Or even record a video. I like that. Tell us something on ATD. I would want us to have an ATD meeting on another day. Today was about CPA, and I believe we have done some little justice to the same. We have done some justice to this particular OTR, this particular CPA. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we wind up, and I hope, Nyongesa, you have taken note of the many questions. I hope you're copying them down. Putting them down, right? Right. So I would want to take this opportunity to invite you to our Excel classes, which will be beginning tomorrow. These Excel classes, advanced Excel classes, these are classes that I would want basically to give to you guys as a gift. Why am I calling it a gift to you? I'll run 4 classes, 1 hour from tomorrow, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I'll do them personally, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Basically, this is Excel for accountants, not just Excel for any other thing, Excel for accountants, where I will teach you like five key functions that an accountant needs to understand. And they're going to charge you for this advanced Excel, basically for your certificate, just 500 shillings. 500 shillings. Once you pay the 500 shillings, you'll be able to get access to our Zoom classes, where I'll be able to teach you this advanced Excel. And I'm so sure one day you'll come thanking me. Those of you who know how Excel is charged out there, you can't get a person who knows how to teach Excel very well, charging you less than 70,000. Here now I'm giving you very good skills at a nominal amount of 500. But I hope I'll be able to get also numbers. I'm banking on numbers. I should be able to get what here, like the class that I have here today, 170. 170. So functions, for example, index and match, sum ifs, we have VLOOKUP, we have the concatenation function, and many others. But most importantly, as an accountant, it is the sum ifs. How do I make use of the sum ifs to do if I'm given a trial balance as an auditor? If I'm given a trial balance as an auditor, as I start auditing, ladies and gentlemen, it's not good for you to rely on the final accounts given to you by who? By your client. Remember, an auditor is supposed to be skeptical. It's called professional skepticism. Doubt whatever they tell you. So take the trial balance they have given you. In this case, as you work forward, just use the sum ifs and produce an income statement and a statement of financial position out of the sum ifs from your trial balance, sum ifs function, just 1 minute. You have those statements, and then you compare the figures you have vis-a-vis what they have given you. And then, of course, you run through this trial balance. You must ask yourself, how are these figures in this case here created? How did you arrive at this figure? Using the famous what here? Assertions. If you remember the assertions, assertions of management, they normally talk of ACCA cover, ACCA cover. So like now this R stands for rights and obligations. So in the trial balance, they have, for example, property, plant and equipment worth 10 million. You must ask you as an auditor, are these assets all yours? Do you have any right on them? If you do, please give me the ownership documents, right? So we have do they exist? So it means I have to physically go and do what here? Go and check, right? Right? So we have like accuracy, completeness, cutoff. If you remember this, allocation, classification. At times in this case here, somebody will sell a motor vehicle, but because they would want to boost their sales, what do? They'll take the motor vehicle collections amount, disposals amount, and then they take the sales account. So I need to see whether the classification, how are these ledgers in this case here classified, right? Are they complete? It is. So these are some of the things you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, as you go for any interview, for you to survive, for you to get, in this case here, into CFO level interviews at a tender age. There are things you need to know. There are things you need to know. There are things you need to know. So will I be able to get students? Will I be able to get students for this Excel? Yes, like Peter says, those who have issues, yeah, great. Great, great, great. Peter, there is somebody who wants you to share your number, which is very good. Very good. Please, Peter, you can share your number. Yes, I'll attend the Excel. If you want to attend this Excel, this is the number. 0719 525 1000. Only 500 for a full course, yes. Not full like you come asking for the entire, no. It is just the function that you need. Please, as you pay, it's good you have this information. The skills that you need for you to be able to do it here, we shall overcome. Sorry. So the requirements for the Excel class, I don't know, but please don't pay for this class. Also, if you don't have a laptop, not unless you pay maybe, and we give you the videos for later practice. But I would want, ladies and gentlemen, I told you, please try as much as possible to have laptops. Try to invest in your computers at home. Now we have reached that era. Trust you me, you can't do very well out there if you are so poor in computing skills. And that is why I always try to urge students, online classes are cheaper for your CPA. Don't go to anybody's physical classroom. Come for the online classes. Once you pay, you'll only be able to pay fees, which is about half of what those guys pay. And you'll be able to save on your fare. You'll be able to save on so many things. You're doing these things from home. Whatever you save, if you save like 20,000 shillings, then you'll be able to get what here? You'll be able to get a very good laptop. 20,000 can give you a good i5. Is it i5 or something? Yeah, with good speed. But if you are capable of buying a good laptop, just go for a laptop like mine. Buy a laptop. If you have money like 120,000, you go for this kind of a laptop. I don't know whether you can see the brand here. Yeah, you go for this kind of a laptop. You can't go wrong. This is what is recommended by the World Bank. It's called the ThinkPad. It's a very good, powerful machine. Very powerful machine. Once you have this, then you cannot go wrong. It's a machine you'll use for the next 10 years. For the next 10 years, if you are careful, of course. Hautakuwa na shida na memory, atimenza ku overheat. No, it's what PwC, all these big firms, they use what here? ThinkPads. They are very good. You have to ask, but I'm so sure you can't get it for less than 100K. And don't go for a second ThinkPad. If you're going for this, please buy firsthand. I can't carry it out of, I don't know whether to give these videos. This time around, let us not give videos. For 500 bob, if I give out videos, I'll not get anything. I won't get anything. Yes, Apple machines, the Macs, they are very good, very good. Once you start getting used to them, very good. Macs are very good. That one, Odera, correct. Yes, desktop is very good as well. It's very good as well. It's very good, very good, very good, very good. A ProBook, yes. HP 10th generation are also good, yes, yes, yes. So I can see you guys have good paraphernalia here. Great. So, but ladies and gentlemen, as we wind up, remember what we have just been saying. Nobody should ever cheat you that CPA is a bad course. No. CPA is what here is the #1 course that I know of. If you can do your CPAs, finish them, and then you go to ACCA, I'm telling you, the sky will be your limit. As people will keep on complaining, I get people, even some of my older classmates, complaining out there how CPA is bad. Look at most of these most of these listed big companies. Who are their CEOs? They are members of it. They are accountants. This is a course which is preparing you for greatness, especially if you are studying it with an intention of understanding everything, especially the theoretical papers. You know, you get somebody here who did the company long time ago, but they remember nothing. They remember nothing, right? You see, a subject like company law, a good student should be able to remember very fast that a company, just like any human being, has got a life cycle. We've got what we call birth of a company, right? The company in this case here must be run. And then, of course, we have death of this company. If you remember the concept of life cycle, So at birth, what happens? Once in this case here, this company is born right away, it becomes what? An independent entity. If you remember the case of Solomon versus Solomon and the company limited, Solomon was the majority shareholder of Solomon Company Limited. So Solomon gave some money to Solomon and the Company Limited. Now, during the winding, Solomon and the Company Limited got some issues. It no longer continue as a going concern. So they reached a level where this company had to be liquidated. And then we had other creditors coming on board and saying that you, Solomon, you are the owner. And if you are the owner, then you can never be put in the list of what here? Creditors. But first of all, let us get our share. After we get our share, then automatically you will be able to get whatever residue is there. The judge ruled and said, no, Solomon and the company, those are two different entities. So once this kid is born, it's different from the promoters. It's different in this case here from the parents. Different company that can own its assets in its name. If you remember those cases like Makaura versus Northern Assurance Company, etc. Very interesting subject. And then, of course, when you talk of running of a company, how do we run this company? We know that a company, of course, does not have a life of its own. It's an artificial person, right? There must be some people inside that cocoon, right, called directors. These directors don't have to agree over everything, 100% of them, for us to have an agenda becoming a resolution. No. If, ladies and gentlemen, out of, like now Kenyans, we are the voters, maybe 10 million. If 5 million plus 1, say it is A for president. So it's the concept of simple majority. Majority will always have their way. It's force versus habitual, etc. These are things that I got to really understand when I was a student, and they have really assisted me. Like whenever I go for any CEO interview, I've attended so many of them. And of course, I've never been selected. I've never been appointed. That is why today I'm here making a lot of noise. Of course, I can't go for so many years without getting it. But the concept is this. Once you master those subjects very well, the way they have been designed by CASNEV, trust you me, when you go for any interview or when even you are speaking with wazers in somewhere, for example, they're having coke, people will not even be able to know whether this is a lawyer, an accountant. These papers expose you. But now the problem that we have, we as students of accounting, is to think that it is the end which matters. So long as I touch the end, which is just passing the papers, no, the surface, the way is very important. Look at a paper, for example, like economics. Economics, if you remember Dr. Malthus. Dr. Malthus said that this world has got an optimal number of people it can hold at any given time, an optimal number of people it can hold at any given time. Right? If it's more than, if it's 6 billion, 6 billion. Should we surpass that? The world will always bring up something which at the end of the day will shake the excess people, and then they'll be able to do what to die, and then the world goes back. So it was basically seeing things like Corona. It was asking ourselves if we are not dying at all. Will we, in this case here, have enough resources for all of us? They have been tragic. So very good subject. But now you get a student who is in section 6. The only thing they are able to remember about economics is the ceteris paribus. That is the only thing they remember. And then you wonder why most of them are complaining that we are being paid 80,000, 100,000, or even 50,000 with 5 kids in the house. So skills are very important. And that is why we are forming these things like what here? Like Excel, like Excel, like Excel, like Excel, like Excel. Great. Great. So Peter is taking your numbers. Very, very important. Is CS marketable as CPA? CS, normally what I tell my students, CS is a very good course, especially if you are doing law. So you take this as an additional, but don't do CS from high school direct. No, I've got out here, people are really struggling with it. CS, really struggling with it. But of course, if you are, for example, like you are an accountant, an accomplished accountant, you have your MBA, you have your BCom there, doing CS will automatically add a lot of value to you. Why? Because we'll know how board meetings are run. But if you're using it to go and search for jobs out there, the market will be crazily harsh for you, So the very best thing, you know, CPA, at times students have asked me, even CIFA and CPA, can you compare really in terms of marketability? Can you compare CPA and CIFA? To me, what I do, I tell my students, do CIFA as a secondary course. Even if you've done BCom, finance and whatever, when did you have the last time you saw any article advertising for jobs of CIFA? When did you ever get to see anything like that? Every day, if you look at today's nation, you see accountants being wanted, right? So CPA is an eye-opener. You'll be able to open so many things in this case here for you. Now, the other courses in this case here should be basically what here, accompaniment, secondary. Don't do them as primary. CFA, very, very powerful. CFA, very powerful. After CPA, should it be CIFA or ACCA? It should be ACCA. Should it be ACCA? I'm sorry to say this, but you see, ladies and gentlemen, once you have gotten enough qualifications here locally, always think of wearing some international feather. Think of putting on some international feather in your academic credentials. They can take you to places. Like I remember the company that I'm working for right now, I simply went there because of what your ACCA. They're not saying that CPA is bad, but you see, they'll ask you questions. Do you have experience, for example, for doing this and this? When you tell them you're an ACCA, they'll even think you have crossed the borders, and perhaps you've never done that. You know, ACCA is also quite a big thing. If you look at ACCA, the way it is structured, sorry for taking your time. Now I'm taking your time. ACCA has got 2 levels. We have the fundamental level, and then we have the professional level. Fundamental level has 9 papers. Professional level has got 4 papers. So once you clear the 9 fundamental papers, then ACCA has made arrangements with Oxford Brookes University. With this Oxford Brookes University, ladies and gentlemen, with Oxford Brookes University, such that the graduates who have cleared the foundational level, the 9 papers, they only write a research paper of 35 pages, and they're given a degree from here. And these degrees are admissible in all universities. This is a prestigious university, renowned globally, this one. It doesn't stop there. You go straight out of these 4 papers after finishing this. You go and knock down these 4 papers. So in total, for you to become an ACCA, you must do how many papers? 13 papers, right? And once you clear those 13 papers, ACCA has made arrangements with the University of London. This University of London, ladies and gentlemen, will be able to give students who have cleared ACCA a master's after doing 2 courses only. A master's in accountancy after doing 2 courses only, and these are research papers. Because what they ask themselves, when you look at an ACCA graduate, what is it they don't have? What they don't have are skills of doing research. So they'll have to give you this so they can get to know how to do referencing, right? APA, MLA, how to do, in this case here, literature review, how to put down a conceptual framework, etc. And you're getting this from the prestigious University of London. And remember, you are not going there at all. You're doing everything from where? From here, Kenya. Myself, I followed this route and I don't regret in terms of CPA. In terms of CPA and whatever, CPA, ACCA, like that. It's a very good route. And remember, the beautiful thing with ACCA is that you can clear the whole of it within 1 year. And once you clear ACCA, if you go to CASNEB, they only give you 2 papers, company law and advanced taxation. All of them put in 1 paper called foreign accountancy qualification. So you write that alone, they give you CPA Kenya. If you're a member of ACCA, ACCA as part, ACCA is all about partnerships. And really, this is why I'm very happy, because now we have a CEO, a new CEO at CASNEB, who happens to be having an idea of what is supposed to be done. CPA, CASNEB is supposed to network quite a lot for the advantage of their students, because truth be told, once you have done your CPA, I've taught masters at JKUAT, I've taught so many universities here, but I can tell you, CPA is a course that stands like this. You can't even compare to any MBA in Kenya here. Never. I know students will argue, but that is the truth of the matter. I mean, at MBA, I'll go, for example, and introduce a subject like this, 3 months, they're given an exam. CPA is a rigorous course, which should be respected. That is why when you want to practice in Kenya here as an accountant, they don't ask for masters or PhDs in finance. They'll want you to give them your CPA graduate, they evaluate it, and then they give you the license to practice. It's a serious course. And if you look at it globally, even for example, the Chartered Accountants of India, once you clear Chartered Accountants of India, go to any Indian university, they only need you to write a thesis paper and you have your master's of degree, like that. And that is why we are privileged to have KCA being a university, which is to some extent owned by ISPAC. ISPAC, they're even in the same compound, right? And ISPAC has an affiliation with who? CASNEB. So we expect in the near future to have a discussion that will see students going to KCA and they write 1 or 2 research papers. All these are the things of being cheated that you have not done communication. No, just walk out there. Even in Nigeria, CPA students can never, like I was sympathizing with some CPA students who are coming to where I used to teach at Daystar University. They come there. These guys come, for example, the course that I was teaching, equity and finance, or rather equity, accounting for equity and liabilities. So these are now the people that, again, remember they are members of ISPAC. They come and join, for example, my 2nd year or 3rd year class, and then you start teaching them pairs. You start teaching them pairs like this with students who have just come from high school. So pairs means what here? That purchases, expenses, and assets, whenever they increase, they have debit entries. You open an account, debit. If you purchase goods for selling, open a purchase account, debit. And then we have revenue, liabilities, and share capital. Of course, whenever they increase, you do what you credit revenue, sales revenue, debit bank, credit sales account. If it's share capital, Mr. A has brought $1 million into RCM Online College, I'll debit the bank account, credit share capital, like that. So you start teaching those students double entry. If you go to the University of Nairobi with your CPA, University of Nairobi will exempt you from how many? It's very unfortunate, 4 papers, meaning that we do not have somebody really who is talking on our behalf. I'm telling you, look at the investment students are wasting. You get somebody doing like part 1 CPA, part 2 CPA. They believe that they go to university and then they are charged like $500,600,000. No, that's money going to the drain, which can be put into some productive use elsewhere. CPA, if CPA was to be molded the way it is supposed to be, like even CPA section 4, you should only go to university and pay like what these guys pay at the Oxford University, only 60, 70,000. A research paper like that, you are given your degree from KCA or from wherever, and then you move on. But I strongly believe that with this concept of a new syllabus, we are heading there. We are heading there. We are heading there. We are heading there, and we shall reach there. And that is why I would want, really, if you look at what I'm doing currently, of course, you guys have been appointed to be a member of member services at ISPAC. So I sit at ISPAC committees, which is quite a strong position. But that is not enough for me, because already I know the CPA brand. I would want one day perhaps after the current chairman tenure comes to an end, this man should be the next chairman of ISPAC. And that is why I would want all the students who are in part 2 and part 3 to ensure that they pass. I'm going to pray for you, and you register with ISPAC immediately, and then you vote for me. And I'm so sure I'll be able to bring very many changes to the advantage of all the students. Great, great, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this particular presentation. CASNEB board member, thank you very much. People are hearing. I'm so sure here we must be having someone from CASNEB. You must be hearing this. This is a student called KK who says that this Mwalimu should be able to sit at the very central table of CASNEB board member. Yes, thank you very much. And please do not forget to sign up into our CPA classes. I'm so sure you guys have been in many colleges, but honestly speaking, getting somebody who is exposed like me, who knows the road you need to do. And that's why in Facebook, they call me mentor. I normally call myself like this: Joshua Aura, ACCA mentor. You go to this one, of course, I've hit my maximum number of friends, and follow me, right? Problem is vitu ukianza kuwa popular, wameform ingine mingi, unaenda ile iko na 5,000, about 4,900 to 5,000 what your followers. The one that is very active, the one that is very active is the one that you follow on Facebook. On Facebook, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Tell us something about public speaking. Public speaking, I gave you. Okay, kabla nimalize, remember this is our number tafadhali. Msikose kuingia online. Msikadanganyike tunakimbia shule ati physical class. Hiyo time mnatoa wapi ya kwenda physical class? There are students I started with here. For example, like this lady from Turkana land called Lokai. Lokai ilianza kumfunza online section 3 na hajaianguka online from Turkana, all the way from Turkana. Wengine wamekuja physical wanafunzwa. Online is very effective. Kwanza with this thing of what your videos, you can put on your video, especially if you are technologically savvy, you know how to fix this thing on a TV, you watch. Kama umeweka mguu kwa pole pole, hiyo masaa ukimbia town wapi na kutafuta jam na nini, hauna, right? Ukiwa job, for example, valancha, umekula kama 20 minutes, unakuja straight away kwa video. Na sio Lokai peke yake. I'm so sure here, there are so many students that have been teaching, that have been, even James Areba, right? There's so many students there are so many students, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many students that have been teaching here online for the longest time ever. Remember I started? Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. Yes, as Joshua Aura. LinkedIn, yes. But now at LinkedIn, I don't talk of myself as a mwalimu. At LinkedIn, remember here at LinkedIn, I work for a company called Arrow. Arrow is a competitor of SAP. Yeah. Have a friendly timetable. We separate weekdays from weekend classes. Esther, these are things we can discuss in WhatsApp like that. Content-wise, kidogo sana wamechange kidogo sana, but ensure that as well you don't purchase. There are those notes I normally see, notes are Strathmore. Zinauzwa kutoka miaka mingi sana. Strathmore la kitabu. Get books from, ladies and gentlemen, get books from renowned authors. Renowned authors, like, of course, you know, Mwalimu here has written very many books like that. So you buy books from RCM publishers, yes. You buy books from RCM publishers, you can never go wrong. Yes. Great, great. All these things to do with the new syllabus. Who is teaching LM? This LM paper, I think, because of my exposure, I need to take this paper. Nifunze LM. I need to take this paper called Leadership and Management. Nifunze kabisa. Very good. Jamlek is asking how many exemptions for CPA finalists? If you're a CPA finalist, you'll be exempted from 9 papers of ACCA. But please, even if you're exempted from 9 papers, accept only 4. Accept only 4 from F5, F6, F7, F8, F9, ensure that you do them. You'll become a genius. If you do those 5 papers, you'll become a genius. Those are the 5 papers that are testing people in terms of what year, are testing people, these skills of what year, Excel, and of course, typing speed. Kama mimi nikienda kwa any board meeting niko nayo, I'll always be chosen to be the secretary. Why? Because by the time we finish the board meeting like this, within 5 minutes, everybody akona the board minutes kwa email address zao. Wanashangaa jamaa amefanya, because I know how to type very fast. I know QWERTY key, right? I don't have to look at the keyboard when I'm typing. So na type haraka kama nasema ni this agenda, what was the resolution, what was resolved there, action point, right? Who is supposed to be doing it? What is the deadline? Like that. And I'm very good in following up. Those are the things in this case that I learned in ACCA. So please ensure that you don't skip these papers over F5, F6, F7, F8. You forfeit those exemptions. You can accept F1 to F4, but F5 to F9, forfeit. Tell them you don't want those exemptions. You want to do the papers. You want to do the papers. You want to do the papers. So thank you very much. I can see you guys have really hung on. Do you teach ACCA too? Maybe I try. Maybe I start the semester. Can someone join ISPAC before completing CPA? No. Nope. Of course, there is this thing of trainee students in the CPA portal, but really that doesn't qualify you to be what year to be a practicing accountant. Basically, you must finish. After you finish like this, there is the associate membership. You pay 2,000 bob, right? Or if you finish and of course you have got the required experience, then you'll be able to join as a full member of ISPAC. Great. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Please. I can't stand here to make all this noise, which is very helpful, and then you don't join my online classes. So physical, online classes. Please join my online classes, and I'm so sure that we shall be able to walk this journey with you. I'm so sure there are those students who are saying that online classes in Apana, adopt technology. That is the language, the advice I'm leaving with you today. Adopt technology and you can never go wrong. Public speaking classes, and ensure that you join what we call the famous Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a public speaking club from UK, which is based at United Kenya Club. United Kenya Club is near the University of Nairobi, right? Yeah, you only pay 1,000 shillings per month, and then you become a Toastmaster. Within 2 years, you'll be so good up there. Remember, these are people who believe that learning of English should never cease, should be a continuous thing till you die. If you come here, for the students that I invited last time to my club, if you come here, actually it's quite unfortunate that I never knew about this club earlier. If I knew about this club earlier, perhaps I would be very far. You know, it's not even about English alone. No, to be knowing a lot of English, but how do you project your sound? Do you know the concept of tonal variation? Look at even the very best pastors that we have in the market right now. These are guys who know. At times they'll come and whisper, and then without you knowing, they'll be able to hitch very high crescendos in terms of what your voice. So they know the tonal variation. And the moment you reach that kind of a level as an accountant, the sky will be your limit. So, and all those skills in this case here are taught where? At Toastmasters. It's an NGO. 1,000 shillings a month. I mean, everybody can afford that. Everybody can afford that. Yes. Perhaps you can repeat about this new syllabus tomorrow, and actually I'll be able to organize now with Peter Nyongesa to do what here to ensure that he has better working, right, internet, so that they can even be able to speak more to us tomorrow. Otherwise, asanteni sana, nimewapatia hii namba ya kazi, not ya kazi, ni ya kazi ya, utapata msichana anaitwa Caro, just in case, not very many people want to talk to me, but just in case you don't talk to me on matters of internship, etc., this is my personal number, but it has to be really on something that is very pressing, not kupigia mwalimu ati haya, hapana. So this is my personal number. My email address is this. Ni vile wanafunzi wengi wa Joshua.aura at arrow.se. Joshua.aura at arrow.se. Great, great. Yes, Fred, Toastmasters, by the way, nowadays has moved straight away to online, 100% because of coronavirus. They no longer have physical classes. You just Google them. For example, on Facebook, you'll be able to get Toastmasters there. And please attend their meetings. If you don't have their 1,000 cash, you can be paying them, is it 200 per session, 200 per session, like that, 200. It's an NGO. It's an NGO from UK that does that, just teaching people how to speak and speak well, So that is it. We shall overcome Amos. Amos, I also work with a team, a very serious team, right? I can't teach all the papers. I work with a very serious team. Yeah, and we shall be overcoming. So thank you very much. In case of anything, you can reach out to me. It has been a pleasure hosting you. And indeed, you know, I advertise this thing just like a joke. Getting over 100 people, I have every reason to thank each one of you. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Don't forget about our Excel class tomorrow. Pay for it. Thank you. Bye. Okay, bye.